I survived 100 days in an end-only world. This is extremely intense. Brand new adventure, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, but all I kind of knew was this was a new upgraded version of the end, so I didn't really know what to expect. So the first thing I wanted to do is head into an NCE dungeon and try to get as much loot as I can, which I made my way to the top floor and ended up getting actually decent gear, which was diamond. After that, I kind of scouted out the area and I found a little pirate ship that I thought again I could get more loot, and it's just an easy fix for me to get overpowered quick. Once I got the elytra, I tried to scout out the area, and that's when I came across a bunch of the new fish. I came across this new ore and some new stone, which I kind of just didn't understand, but that was kind of helpful towards finding more of the NCE loot. I ended up finding more fish, so this was my food source for secured straight off the bat, and honestly I have to rate them. I came across these weird slimes. I'm not gonna question them, but I just waited for my food to smelt, so now I had the perfect food source to last a while. Exploring a little bit more, I came across this weird looking biome, which I have to say looked amazing, but at the same time mobs were trying to kill me non-stop. When I tell you the end is dangerous, it's very dangerous, but for some reason he died while escaping me, so who's the real winner? I came across an abandoned ship, which I don't think is in vanilla Minecraft, but you know what, I took the obsidian because I thought I needed as much obsidian as I could, and I continued onto my journey of exploring. I have to say these biomes look completely amazing, to be fair, and the new ores are very unique that I had no idea what to do with them, but I have to say it is probably one of the most colorful biomes I've ever seen. And that is when I came across these weird crystal looking things, which just surprised me, like, bro, what, hello? But these are crucial in what I want to do in the future. Sometime around day 5, I came across a biome which I honestly thought would be pretty amazing to build a house in, so I started to scout out the entire area, find the perfect opportunity to make the perfect amount of land, and that's when I came to the realization that this is gonna be my house. So you know what, it came out pretty good. This area was nice. Also, the new building blocks were kind of crazy, so for the next couple of days I spent just me building my house up because I wanted a protected house that would protect me from the endermen and potentially all the other mobs, which it didn't actually do a good start of doing because yo, endermans were on me 24/7. I had no idea what I did to them, but I had to build this house as fast as possible, and I really didn't have a design I wanted to do, but it kind of came out really good. And the cool thing about this biome was there were a bunch of trees everywhere, and these were massive trees which I could get amazing amounts of wood. Started working on the roof because I didn't know what was gonna fall from the sky, so I needed as much wood as possible, and you know what, I couldn't find the wood I needed. I had no idea where I got it from, so I ended up using the slime blocks I actually acquired, and honestly these look amazing. For some reason these mushroom jellyfish looking slime blocks were everywhere in this world. The house was turning out really good. The only problem with this house was it was kind of too small for me, so I had to build up a second layer, and this is when I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I just went with a decent design that would make the house look half decent at least. That was when I was just casually mining, and this guy came out of nowhere. I don't know what I did to him, but for some reason he actually scared me. I remember thinking, bro, my heart jumped out of my mouth. I was like, how in the world did you even just fight me? Where? But he just disappeared. And that's when I knew it was time for me to break all my chests and move it into my house. The next day I wanted to start working on something called the infusion table, which is actually a massive part of the end, and pretty much how this works is, yeah, I'm gonna be real, I had no idea how this works, so I just went around exploring, trying to find as much stuff as I could, because maybe in one of these biomes it has something I need. That was when I came across all the new kinds of slimes, and I went mining because I thought potentially there's new ores, and that's when I came across the new amber ore, which I think actually was gonna be decent, but I can't underestimate how overpowered this is. The main thing is you have to be careful not to look at enderman in the eyes, because everyone wants to fight you, and I kid you not, this is dangerous. Once I made my way back home, I used a new crafting recipe to make an eye of ender. Who's seen an eye of ender made like that? And with that I made the new transfusion table, infusion, I don't even know what it was called. It was a pedestal that looked kind of sick, and I was kind of confused on how to use this. I'm gonna be real, I had no idea at all. I was like, yo, it looked cool. Day 10 is when I kind of really understood how this was gonna work, so I had to make a bunch of transfusion tables, and that's when I had to go around killing as many endermans as I could and get amber resources. So I went exploring, and that's when I came across this weird looking portal. I had no idea what this had to do, but at the time this was crucial, but I didn't really think about it. At the same time, this enderman wanted to fight me. I don't know if it was a guardian or anything, but this is when life took a massive turn, because I did not expect to witness this. I didn't even know this was a thing, but this is what is called a shadow biome. When I tell you this is probably one of the creepiest biomes you've ever seen in Minecraft, this is truly the creepiest biome you've ever seen in Minecraft, because I kid you not, this was so eerie and creepy. Playing in this with no music was weird. As soon as I had enough loot, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna dip from this area because I don't want to deal with it, and it's giving me the shivers. So I made my way all the way out, and I wanted to get out of this place and head back home. The next couple days I went exploring because I wanted to find more ways to make the transfusion pedestals, because that was going to be a massive crucial part in making my end journey successful. And that's when I mined up all this obsidian in the pirate ship, because that's the only way I could get obsidian, right? You just loot other ships, like, bro. But while I was here, I decided, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity to loot as much chests as I could, and this is where I just wanted to fight this shulkers, get them shulker myself, and that's when I got a massive amount of diamonds. I am rich, bro. I made a flint and steel, and I did the big brain thing of making nether portal in the end, thinking, you know what, let me head to the nether, this is easy. Turns out it just don't work, so I kind of got scammed there. I was kind of sad. That's when I started to learn about the transfusion pedestal, and I was like, okay, so it has to be in this sort of pattern, and I need a lot of loot to make this a thing, which turns out, I'm gonna give you a heads up, I've made it completely wrong, but it still worked. But there's a more efficient way to make this, but the way I made it actually took a long process, and that involved mining a bunch of amber. I kid you not, it took me so long mining. It was bro, how do you even find this ore? It's painful to find, I kid you not. But that just made me just kill more endermen, take out my frustration, and for some reason endermans wanted to fight me. I spent a long time grinding for these endermans, to the point where there was one that almost killed me, and that was almost over. Once I made my way back, I had 3 more pedestals acquired, so I started placing them in the formation that I needed to. I went back to find more amber, because that was my resource. I had to get a bunch of amber, and once I had enough, I made a bunch more infusion pedestals, and this was when I could completely complete my ritual table. I mean, the final product looks kind of dodgy. I ain't gonna cap. It looks kind of dodgy. I don't think I was even supposed to make it like this, but it works. Next couple of days, I wanted to learn how the whole ritual system works, and I actually ended up making the ruined little hieroglyphs. I don't know what it was, but it were blocks that would potentially help me in the future, so I made as much as I could if possible. And that's when I learned I need to make crystals, and without the guy need gas tiers. How can I get gas tiers? It makes no sense. That was when I met this guy spinning, Enderman DJ. After that, I just kicked the Enderman off and went back to using my ritual to make more glyphs. And this is when I finished up the portal. Now the thing is, with these portals, you can make a little portal to the overworld. At this point, I was running out of food, so I had to go find more fish farms. And you know what? I'm so sad for killing these guys. And that's when I came across another portal for some reason. What? And the only way to activate it is you need an end crystal. This is what I was so frustrated about. It's like, how do I get gas tiers in the end? It makes no sense. I made my way back to the front. I was like, is there a way for me to get this? And then I realized, wait, I've got a bunch of XP. Is this cheating? I don't think it's cheating. I just yoinked the XP. I also yoinked the ender dragon head. But that's when these guys wanted to find me, and I'm like, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna just quickly TP to the overworld. Turns out, yep, nope, there's no overworld. I've TP'd back into the spawn point in the eye. Bro, I was so frustrated. I was like, yo, this is a troll. There's no way. What do I do? The next couple of days, well, I'm not gonna lie, were a bit of a journey, if I have to say so myself, because I had to make my way all the way back to my actual place. And when I kid you not, I went exploring. Like, I went far from my actual house. So on the way back, I took a different route, a little faster route. And this kind of worked in my favor, because I got to get a bunch of blocks I didn't usually get in the beginning, because I'm more familiar with the territory. But eventually, I made my way back home safe and sound. The next few days, I actually wanted to work in my house, because honestly, it's a nice house, but I didn't really do much with it. So I thought I'd replace the floor with a bit of a purple kind of wood, which surprisingly, the amount of woods in this area were kind of nice. At the same time, I kind of wanted to upgrade the outside of my house, which I kind of wanted to overlook the pond, but I was like, what the hell am I doing? My building skills have gone downhill, so I ended up making a bridge instead, and the bridge kind of came in clutch. Needing more wood, I went back over to the trees, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to extend my house slightly more. It's a decent looking house, but I needed to make it a little bit bigger, and that meant opening the little doors open, and I'm making an extra bunch of room. I had no idea what kind of design I wanted for this, but all I know is place blocks till it looks nice. That's pretty much how life goes, right? The only thing I knew for a fact was I wanted the purple blocks to be my floor, so I made them into slabs and I started placing them everywhere. That was until this enderman came out of nowhere trying to fight me for some reason. I don't know what I did to you, bro, but did you drop me an ender pearl? Around day 34, I went exploring again, and that's when I found this massive mushroom looking tree, bro. The fishes were cool, but bro, I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, let me quickly loot the chest. I got a bunch of diamonds, I got gold, I got some cool loot, and the main thing was I got a silk touch, which was huge. But I made my way to the top of the mushroom looking tree, and I didn't know what to do with this block, but either way, mushroom tree pog for the win. I wish I made my house here, to be honest. I came across the new shadow biome again, and at this point I was like, okay, shadow berries are a useful food resource, so I might as well mine as much of these so I could start planting them and making farm. And at the same time, I wanted to yoink the wood, because you know, it was a nice looking wood. What can I say? But this is when this guy came out of nowhere, and my heart jumped, bro. My heart jumped. I was like, bro, where did you come from? These guys are mad. They're flying out the sky. At this point, I wanted to collect as much berries as I could and just dip from this entire place, because blindness and just scary people coming left, right, and center just makes no sense. Like, this guy popped out of nowhere, and if he one shot, would have been dead, but luckily he's kind of weak. Once I made my way back, I came across these ender dust things. I don't know, ender ores. I don't know exactly what they did at the time, but they were kind of nice. But I made my way towards the new End City loot dungeon thingy-majiggy. I don't actually know what the real names for these are, but End City loot. And that's where I got a bunch of loot just to secure my victory over these next couple of days. So once I got the loot, I made my way over here. And the hardest part, I'm not going to tell you, was actually mining this ender chest. Like, bro, the amount of times, like, how hard is it to mine an ender chest? I went to the pirate ship, killed the shulker over here, and looted these chests, which surprisingly, I didn't actually get anything useful. It was pretty trash. With the new Silk Touch, I wanted to mine as much grass as possible from different biomes just to show that I've been there. So once I got back home, I stored up all the loot, emptied my entire thing, and this is where I started to plant my new farm that I would just use to make food, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really have plans, but it turns out that it actually does work here, which surprisingly I was surprised about. I'm glad I have food. I went exploring for a little bit, and once I was killing these guys, I realized, wait a second, is that what I think it is? There is no way that is a ghast tear. I don't know how did that happen. At this point, I was actually low-key kind of confused. I was like, wait, did I break some plants? But then I started killing more slimes, and it turns out that for some reason, I don't know if it's a different mod I actually had installed, but for some reason, these mods actually, or mobs drop like ghast tears. I don't know why. And I wanted to triple check if this was actually facts or it was fake. So I did it again, and I was like, okay, didn't drop it until I was like, wait a second, is that what I see? It is a ghast tear. I was so happy. Enderman tried to kill me. What a sad guy, right? I started to mine the amber ore because I needed as much amber as I could, because that was a massive crucial part in making my overlord wait. So I made my way back home because I wanted to mine up all this amber ore and start creating the fusion tools that I needed to actually survive in the end and make my way over. So I wanted to get as much glass as I could to make the end crystals, because that's a massive part. So I was mining a bunch of sand. Now once all the sand had been acquired, I placed the eyes of Ender and I placed the ghast tears, and I got my first end crystal. And that's how you actually ended up making an eternal crystal, which you needed. So once I actually put all the requirements in and I activated it all with every single resources I had and every fiber in my body, I placed the end crystal. And with that, it started doing some like, look at that. It looks completely amazing. It's like see-through kind of rainbow-esque. So that means that was successful. So I had to go mine as much ender dust as I could because I needed as much ender shards. And I just repeated this process over and over again until I had enough eternal crystals to make my portal to the overworld. Once I had enough, I started to place them down at the portal because I didn't know exactly how it worked. I just went off a hunch and what I read. So apparently I was supposed to place these here, and it turns out that I was actually correct, because once I started lighting this all up, the most amazing thing happened, and it activated a portal that looked like I was in some rainbow dimension. And the thing I did was I said goodbye to the end because I didn't know what was going to happen if I go through. Was it going to be the end? And it turns out I just entered the overworld. That was pretty much it. It was that simple. We finally found a way to go into the overworld. Once in the overworld, it didn't stop there. I looted the first ship I saw because this was my territory. I looted as much bamboo as I could because why not a bamboo? And I got the easiest resource possible, which was sheep. But then I also forgot that there's mobs in the overworld. I totally forgot about that. Food was everywhere though. I mean, they weren't even animals at this point. It was just food. So I just went around killing everything I could until I came across a village that wasn't actually a village. Where were the houses? Did I miss somewhere? Did I completely like miss a turning? That didn't stop me from robbing this place though. So I got the hay. I needed as much food as possible because there's not much food in the end. And I came across this zombie villager. I found more cooked beef, so I ended up killing the cooked beef, making it just nice and steady until I came across another village with a massive portal. And you know what? I was in a call with my friend at this point. I was like, yo bro, what is this? This is kind of wild. The most underrated resource is actually dirt, because you can't get dirt in the end. So I mined up as much as I could and I started making my way. But then I realized, wait, there's another village next to the bro. I was not questioning what was going on at this point because I was like, yo, how rare are villages? Like, did I accidentally install like an extra village mod? I have no idea. But I came across my first bed. Maybe fighting the Iron Golem wasn't the best shout, because this is when I almost died. He could have potentially killed me here, but I played it pretty safe and steady, and I got as much sugarcane as I could, so that's paper in the future. And that's when I came across a desert temple. I wanted as much loot as I could, and I was hoping for the best loot possible, but it turns out I would just love scam there. I got fully scammed, but I'm still sad about that to this day. I'm narrating this and I'm fully sad. Like, I got scammed so hard. After doing some parkour on the trees, I almost died by falling into a ravine, and this is when I was like, okay, bro, I almost died to the most stupidest way. And this zombie came down, I started killing him, but that was when I turned and I was like, hey, what is that, bro? It was the stronghold. Imagine, I accidentally killed myself, but it was the stronghold. Made my way over to the bookshelf room, and I wanted to mine as much bookshelves as I could, because that's my level 30 enchantment already done. I checked the chest, and I got all the books from that. Made my way to the stronghold room, and the portal had 2 eyes already in it. After spending a while in the overworld and having no more loot left in my inventory, I made my way back into the portal and started to make my way back home. And once I got back home, I ended up storing all the loot I had acquired over the next days. Now that I had enough bookshelves and a way to make bookshelves. I had enough levels to enchant, so why wasn't I enchanting? I made the perfect enchantment table, and I wanted to test what enchants I actually ended up getting. So I started doing some stimulus ritual. Turns out I completely messed up this ritual. This is not how you make the item I wanted. I wanted to make an OP chest plate, but it turns out I needed terminite, not adamantite. I don't even know what blocks I had at this point. I was so confused. I was so confused. One thing I didn't know is I wanted to build more, so I started enchanting a bunch of stuff and started upgrading my area a little bit to make it look cozy. Turns out I got almost a fortune free, but I needed more lapis. Also, with the string I got, it turns out you can actually fish in this game, which I didn't know you could fish, but you can actually fish in this game, which is cool. You get some yeah, you get normal Minecraft items. What can I say? With that, I made an amazing shield, and I headed back into the overworld because that's where I wanted to go. Now that I conquered the overworld, I wanted to go inside the nether. Once in the nether, I was prepared. I found a bastion straight off the bat, and I used my Elytra to fly over so I don't die. And honestly, I missed the bastion. It's been so long. Usually I'm in the nether in like day 5, day 6. This was the longest I haven't been to the nether, so I was just farming these guys easy. I was so careful and I was so overpowered. It was too easy. Either way, I got all the gold required, and I could infinitely trade if I wanted to, but I didn't feel like trading, to be honest. I was just farming these guys for XP and killing them. But I have to say, there was a lot of piglin brutes around. I don't know, they were having a party or something, but there was times I almost fell off and almost died. But you know, luckily I did survive. When I killed these, there were so many of these guys. I can't describe how many of these there are. My diamond sword with a breaking free almost broke. On my way inside, I found a bunch of chests that had some decent loot. Again, I can't really complain. It wasn't anything too much, but one thing I was secure on was I had a bunch of gold. So I fought more of these piglin brutes because I wanted as much chests as I could. I was a bandit. I wanted all the loot possible. There was no one taking away any loot that was classed as mine. After pretty much killing all these piglins and them dying to just running into lava, I ain't gonna question it. I looted up the rest of the chests, and you know what? It wasn't even worth it. At that point, a gas spawned inside my face for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, free gas tiers, I can't really complain. And this guy just wanted to fight me. I don't know why. And then this guy also came, but for some reason, when I killed him, he dropped a block of gold, which I've never seen in my entire life before. After exploring, I came across another bastion remnant. Again, 2 bastions in 1 nether run. I'd say I'm pretty happy about that. So I started killing them all. Again, I was used to it at this point. The first one was a good warm-up, and I got some decent loot. I have to say, this one was slightly more risky because there were times I almost died a few times. For some reason, all the piglin in this area were just wilding. I don't know what I did to them, but everyone wanted to fight me. But I got some ancient debris. Now, this was the part where I almost kind of died, and I have to say, I was kind of sad about it. Because these guys were popping out of nowhere, and bro, I survived barely. Like, he shouldn't have hit me there, but he did hit me. I had a golden apple. I was taking no riskers. I tried to loot the rest of these chests, but it turns out I was getting followed by a bunch of parades. So, you know what? I had to dip. There was no point. That's when I thought I needed to start trading. But then this guy just didn't want to take my gold, and he almost killed me. I legitimately survived on a half a heart. I could have potentially died right there, right then. This would have been the end. You guys wouldn't even seen this. But once I loaded a bunch of pigment into there, I was just like, take all this gold, bro. I got so much stacks on gold. You drop me anything you want. And while I was waiting for these guys, I decided to mine the rest of the trees around it. After acquiring a bunch of obsidian, I made a portal to make my way out of here, and then I lighted it. Don't ignore the miss. After I got bored of trading, I decided, you know what? I need to start killing these guys. Get rid of them. And can you believe out of 4 stacks of gold I threw, they didn't drop a single ender pearl trade. What are the chances of that? Once I got through, it turns out I got a subspace bubble pot. I was so far. That literally meant I was way too far. And so before I started dying on hunger, I started to kill this cooked beef. After a long while of traveling, I finally made my way back to the actual pool. And I had to go back home. I missed my home. It's been way too long. I said hello to my house, and I stored up all the rest of my loot. I wanted to delve a little bit more into the whole mod pack as a whole, the better ender mod, because that's pretty much what this is, and I wanted to see what else I did. So I wanted to make the most overpowered gear, and it turns out, bro, I have no idea exactly what I'm doing, because this makes no sense. I've read so many books, I've read so many tutorials, I've watched so many tutorials. It just made no sense what exactly I had to do. I was whacking stuff in anything, in anvils, in blacksmith tables, in chests. Bro, at the end I got a fortune free. Bro, I actually have no idea what I was doing. I'm gonna be real. But honestly, it kind of turned out fine because I started making a bunch of loot, but the things I wanted didn't actually work. So instead I decided, you know what, let me make my way over to the nether and let me start farming some blaze rods, because I wanted some strength potions to actually go fight some stuff. So while I was there, I found the blaze spawner. That was an easy XP and easy blaze rods. That was when I came across this little wither skeleton, and once I went to go find him, I realized, wait, this guy actually dropped the wither skeleton. Is this potentially I could get a wither skull? So since I already got one, I thought, you know what, let me go fight the rest of them. And this is when a bunch came out of nowhere. I could have potentially died, but I'm too good. Oh, this guy still kind of hit me, yo. I did get kind of low. I ain't gonna count. This guy did, like, bro, I did actually get kind of low. But then after I actually secured all the loot, it turns out one of them actually dropped the head. Don't know which one. Once I got enough skulls, I thought, you know what, I just don't want to find a place. Let me just do it in the nether. Let me make the wither in the nether. By the way, this is probably the biggest mistake of my entire life today. I kid you not, definitely today, because this guy wanted to fight me so bad, and I underestimated him. I'm not gonna lie, I did underestimate how underpowered I am and under level I am. I just sharpness 3. I didn't have a smite. I drank all my potions. I drank all my healing. There was a time where I potentially thought I could have survived, but there was no surviving. I even dropped to 2 hearts one time, and you know what, at this point I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna fight him. If this guy despawns, he despawns. If he survives, he survives. I just wanted to survive. That's really it. And I made my way all the way back home, and this time I wanted to get actually geared. I didn't want to go understack. So I decided to start using my levels to enchant until I got a smite sword, and only my second one I got a smite 4 sword, which is pretty cool. Once I made my way back, he was already here, which was actually working in my favor, and he was just standing there sitting down. And now it was a lot easier to find because I made a bunch of golden apples and I got a bunch of potions. Now was the time that me and him were gonna have a real tussle to fight, and you know what, he was slightly more easier now. Once he got low enough, I went in for the little melee. I went in with a crits, but I wanted to heal just in case, because you know these guys, they can hit you and you can die instantly. It sucks. But once I killed him, he dropped the nether star and I was happy. I got some nether walls before I left the nether, and once I made my way back into the end, I made my way back home to make a beacon. I dug out an entire area outside my house, and using gold and iron blocks, I officially put my beacon down. And I just equipped it with speed. Speed was pretty pog, I'm not gonna cap. The next day I had a bunch of gas tears, and it was a time for me to actually make the crystals, because what I wanted to do is, since the ender dragon was already defeated, I had to respawn the ender dragon to actually fight him. So I closed my door for the last time and said goodbye to my house. I went on to a journey back to the end, and along the way I found a crystal biome, and I had a silk touch, so I wanted to see what it dropped if I dropped silk touch, and it just dropped aurora crystal, which was pretty cool, I guess. Nice building blocks, and I just mined everything along the way that I didn't have. But once I made it back to the starting island, I started to spawn the ender dragon. This is where it all started, and this is where it'll all end. Either I will die or he will die. That was what was going through my mind. But this looked epic. This is my first time actually spawning the ender dragon in. It looked pretty cool. But this is where I had to try hard. I didn't have no beds. I had to build up. I had to destroy these crystals. So it was kind of tough. I even thought, can I silk touch these crystals? Yeah, you can't silk touch these crystals. It just doesn't work like that. But I just started to just MLG everywhere. I was trying to be as fast as I can, and this is where the ender dragon came in trying to fight me. For some reason, this guy just, I don't know how he took damage. I'm not, was he suffocating? I have no idea. But this guy really wanted to just kill me. There were times I almost died, and there was times that this was probably one of the weirdest ender dragon battles you've ever seen. Like, I don't know who else has had a more weirder ender dragon battle, but I have to say my bow skills, I didn't miss a single bow shot. I have to be proud of my bow skills here. Got to the point where this guy almost actually killed me. Like, it got bad. This is the part where I was like, okay, you're one, you should die. Why are you not dying? I got the half a heart. I got the half a heart. Once I healed up, I was like, please just let me in, bro. Why are you just not let me fight you? And I had to spam click, and he finally died. The ender dragon, the almighty beast, is a stupid guy, bro. Stupid guy. But after I jumped in, I spawned back here. Yeah, no. Life was rough. I had to make my way all the way back. Once I made my way back to here, I think this was the end of day 99. And once we headed back inside the house, that was it. We completed the 100 days. You know what? But on my 100-day walk, this guy still wanted to fight me. I don't know why. We hit day 100. They're pretty sick. It's lit. It's lit. We made a sign. And you know what I do? I always place a sign. 100 days, PogChamp. Hope you guys did enjoy.